Morning guys. So this is another farmer project here. I've actually had this one here for, I don't know, not a couple weeks, about a week I think, and then wasn't a super rush because this is for a blueberry farmer and this is one of his summertime machines, so he doesn't need it right now. But anyways, this is for, I gotta think, some kind of a spraying machine. At any rate, this is an arm. I don't totally understand it. I haven't seen the machine, but something that moves up and down on the back. Anyways, if I understand it right, I think a bolt fell out and then it cranked around and you can see twisted this here right off. He wanted to know if I could straighten this. Well, I'll show you this up closer just so you guys can see what I'm looking at. So, I don't know about you guys, but I give that a 0% chance of straightening out and being functional. Like, it's a tube. If this was a solid piece of steel that had just twisted up, I'd say yes. But the tube, it bent, twisted, and smashed flat. Like, there is no way in Billy heck you are getting that thing straightened out well enough to make it work. So, this thing is, I believe, Italian built. So, of course, this tubing is all metric. I don't have that around. It's not readily available. But what I do have is some, I think this is 1x2 here. Yeah, 1x2. This stuff is 30 millimeters by 50 millimeters. So 1x2 gets us darn close because 2 inches is, just a hair over 50 millimeters. Now, inch is about 5 millimeters under 30 millimeters. That's closer to 25. If I remember right, I think an inch is 20, well, yeah, 25.4 millimeters. But at any rate, that, I talked to him about it, and if this is slightly narrower, it makes no difference. It's just got a pin here, and these 2 plates are for the stops for when this thing's flipping. So we're going to go ahead, cut a piece off the length that we need for this, and punch the hole in it. I've got a piece plate here to use to make these 2 stops, which those, interestingly enough, are 25 millimeter, and inch is so close to that. Won't matter for that. So we're going to get to it, do some cutting, chopping. A lot of these kind of projects, I haven't even been bothering to show you guys. It's, honestly, they seem boring to me. So I'm like, I don't know if you guys even want to watch crazy stuff like this. So I say crazy, boring stuff. But I put a few up. Part of it, like the one I did yesterday with the drive drum for that crowd date, some of my motivation for that is just downright selfish. I had a few people really giving me flack, saying I'm overcharging and I'm a crook. I had a couple guys doing that here a while back. My shop rate, my normal shop rate here is $120 an hour. Now, I have no idea what shop rate is in your area. Around here, general machine shop rate is somewhere in the 80 to 120 an hour. But that's like, your average job shop. Now, the problem is, even those kind of job shops, they're running small volume production is what they're up to. In my instance, I don't do that kind of work. I'm the guy that is standing here with a shop full of tools, waiting for somebody like this to walk through the door with a problem. My billable hours in a day, I'd be embarrassed to say what it is. I mean, you guys see me on these big projects, but then if I averaged it out, I would be surprised if I get, probably being generous if I say it averages out to 5 billable hours a day. I'm always busy, but part of the reason I say 5 billable hours a day is because of projects like this. Like this year, I'm going to screw around with this in between other projects. Probably burn up 2 hours doing it, and I'm going to charge you $50 for fixing it. Like, that's just the way it's going to be. Like, so I wanted to show you some of these, understand, like, when I say my shop rate's $120 an hour, that's the goal. If it's a job that warrants it, I get tons of projects and where I look at it and I just think, man, this guy needs this thing fixed. There's no way it's worth what I'd have to charge him on shop rate, and we just pick a number. Like, I'll literally say, hey guys, here's what I got into it for time. I know it isn't worth that to you. What's this job worth to you? And as long as it's not, preventing me from doing a good paying job that's the one that keeps the lights on in here, honestly, there's almost never a number too small. I mean, if somebody's a jerk and they're just trying to get one over on me, well, nobody wants to help those kind of people. But when it's stuff like this, right? Like this guy is running a second-generation family blueberry farm, farm and organic, which, by the way, I actually do care about. I'm a pretty big fan of trying to do stuff organically, small family farm. So, like, frankly, if this guy came back and said, hey, I'm broke, I can't afford to pay you, I'd still do the job anyways, because we need those guys. So anyway, that's why I'm showing you some of these, is just to understand, like, I show you all these big cool projects, but that is definitely not all that goes on in here. And I guess in the comments, let me know, like, if this kind of stuff bores you out of your gourd, I won't bother putting it on there, but if you're like, I like my popcorn in the evening and want to watch that, fine. I don't know what's wrong with your heads if you want to watch this stuff, but more power to you. So let's get to it. Alright, overall length of this one, I'm sure it's some metric number, but 39 3/8. We're getting super high tech here, and we are just plotting it into it and marking it at 39 3/8. Alright. I don't love working on the floor, but this thing is kind of, it would fit on my welding bench, and that is where we'll go to weld on it, but a little bit awkward, so working here. Alright, I'm going to go cut this off and bring back the piece. Alright, I didn't drag you guys around the shop just to show you that whole process. But here we are. I cut it off, threw it on the belt sander, and touched up the ends. And now I think we're going to try just some full-blown sheet in here. So I've got it cut to the same length. I'm going to see if I can get away with reaching in here. Oh yeah, looks pretty good. Anyway, so projects tend to beget other projects. And what we are doing right now is making ourselves some handles for that closing drill press, because I want to use it to drill the holes in this, and I haven't got around making handles yet. So it's 1/2 inch 20 threaded holes, so I'm going to chop off some 1/2 inch threaded rod, and then we're going to go over there to Wiggles lathe and thread the ends of it to fit into that thing is the plan. So. Alright, let's give this another whirl and see if we got a winner or not. It's looking substantially more promising. See how far we... Yeah, I think that's good enough for who it's for. Now, let's see if these work. Threads are a little catchy, but not bad. And honestly, I didn't run a tap in the hole, so these things probably haven't had anything in them in a very long time. So I wouldn't doubt that there's a bit of gunk and nastiness built up in the holes themselves. Let's go grab a pair of pliers. Try my best to keep from putting any big nasty hickeys on it. Alright. That looks pretty good. Spin it around, set the lock, bring the next one into index here. Not really sure how long these would have originally been. I measured the ones on the Walker Turner, and they were a little over 8, but there's been plenty of times that I felt like they were a little bit on the short side, like the leverage wasn't quite what I'd like in mine, but so I was shooting for 10 on these, but it didn't occur to me that I was threading part of it in, so I'm not sure where I've actually ended up. Yeah, I'm at about 9 after I'm threaded in here. It's within the right range anyway. See some chips in that one. These holes have got like coolant residue in them, so definitely see where we won't be using the power feed with this on here. I mean, I totally understand why they took this off. Like, can you even imagine? I mean, it goes kershunk down, rapids down till it hits the slowdown point. Man, this thing would knock you out cold if you... Might kill you, to be honest with you. Steel bars winging around there. I honestly don't expect... Okay, so we need to drill, I think is going to be a 1/2 inch hole through there. This one is 15/32. Of course, I don't have a 1/2 inch. These are my junker leftover drill bit collection, so I'll have to go find a drill bit. For some reason, the video didn't start. I shot video of drilling these holes in, which was not rocket science. Oh, by the way, this showed up in the in-between. This is the next project, replacing the spades in this potting spade. But anyways, and I was just showing that this was a perfect project for the gang drill. I was able to run my, what was it, 9/16 drill bit in the big machine at the it was set at, run my pilot drill in that one, and not have to be screwing around, changing speeds, changing tools. Worked very nice, but anyway, none of that got recorded. So anyway, here's what we got going on. So you can see, looking at this, that we've got a size discrepancy between these two, and I determined that that was pretty dadgum close to being 3/32. So I took a hunk of 3/32 welding rod, knocked the flux off of it, and wire wheeled it, and bent it in a U. That was just so I could hold it with one hand and get it in here in 2 spots like this. And I'm using it as a glorified shim to hold this, and I got clamps and a hunk of angle iron, but all this jazz just to hold these straight, true to each other. I've been sighting up and down it, and it looks pretty good, so I'm about ready here to set up and go to welding on this thing. So I'll get you guys on a stand and bring you along. And see if we can get this tacked in place at least. Yeah, a little hot probably, but we can get the job done. Just got to move quick. Alright, I think I'm going to have to pull all my clamps and junk off, which it may warp around or do something, but if it does, we'll tweak it a bit. Well, a fancy U-spacer piece. Alright, let's zap this. I'm just trying to get it all tacked right now. Okay, well, I think stayed straight enough for our purposes. Make sure before I proceed that I have got this on the right way. I made myself a mark on the one corner of this before I chopped it off, because you'd be shocked how easy it is to forget which way that thing went on there. So just verifying that I'm all indexed correctly, and I am. So. And then, by the way, you see all this powder pouring out of here? This thing is galvanized. So this is a good case for some galvanized putty. Knocked down one of my helmets. Anyway, so we're going to kick in the fan, see if we can avoid getting the chills and aches tonight. Say, I'm a little hot for the thickness of the material. That's why I didn't just weld continuous. I'd have almost guaranteed blown a hole through there if I had. I prefer to weld a bit on the hot side like that. It's possible to, just because getting some good penetration. Whew. I, by the way, am holding my breath while I'm welding too. All that white stuff is zinc oxide. If you've never experienced it, consider yourself fortunate. You feel like you're going to die if you get a good case of zinc poisoning. I'm going to quick go hang all these back up while the smoke dissipates and get them out of my road. What I want to do is just stand this thing right here on the floor. Move my ground clamp over to it. I'm capable of welding out of position, but you never do unless you have to, because why make life trickier than it needs to be? Alright, just lean over and stay up there nicely, but we can't. So we got to do some fun trick where we hold it with our shoulder and weld. I hear the zinc crackling and sizzling and popping inside that pipe. Okay. Okay, everybody, this is exciting stuff. I decided that this was the perfect project for the new cold saw. So I took time to wire it up, and you're about to see the first cut. All I did was wired it in. I had to wire a plug into the end, and I had to wire in the pump. So this is only the second time it's ever been turned on since came to this shop. We're about to find out how she does. Unbelievable. Just kershing, and off she goes. So here's, you can see that's what I cut with the band saw, and there's the slicer off with the cold saw. I am very happy. This is one of them, I just thought, you know what, if I don't do it now, when will I ever do it? This is actually a project I could use it on. Okay, so I got to get some dimensions off this mangled thing. It's weird, because some of these numbers sure look like they're hitting American numbers. Shouldn't say American, English. Get my terminology correct here, but anyway. Eyeball this mangly mess and make sure that I'm setting it on there the correct direction. Yeah. Alright, we're going to get a clamp that in place, and then go to welding. right. Well, I believe that is the end of fabrication on it. And now it's just time to pick up a few odds and ends and go spray bomb that thing. Alright, so this is Crown 65% zinc rich brake galvanized coating. It's leftover from years of putting in crowd gates. They'd send this stuff with you with every install to touch up welds and stuff. And for years, you end up with a half can here and a half can there kind of stuff. Hopefully it'll still spray, because this stuff's probably, I don't know, 8 years old or better if I had to guess, because it's been quite a while since I was doing that kind of work. See what she does. Not much. There he goes. Ah, man. Yeah, I was worried about that. They get old. And, let's see if I can blast out the nozzle. Ah! Get a little spritz out, and then it stops. High time I was using this stuff for something, because as you can see, it's getting to where she ain't going to live much longer and be any good at all. Trying to fog up inside of there. Slow down the inside. Rusting program. Man, this is annoying stuff. Not really sure exactly where the problem is here. Anyway, I guess that's it, guys. I will ship this thing out of here and bring you guys back next time we got something more showing. But another example, just the kind of dumb stuff we do. And like I said, I probably screwed around 2 hours, and we'll charge. I don't know. I said $50 earlier, but it's none of them where they ain't getting rich anymore. Like I say, I'm making enough money to make a living, so it's just. We'll see. I have a hard time billing guys for this kind of stuff. But anyway, we'll get it out of here and get on to the next project.